back. Eric, first question here on the left side, Coach. Hey, bud.
For as long as I've covered this team, when you talk about Chris, it's always, Chris is great, but like there's some qualifier where he's not quite good enough. He had 40 points in a finals game. He had 2 quarters with 20 points in a playoffs. So like, what has it meant for you to have Chris come through in this level to that high of an elite level and to kind of have him have this spotlight for the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's special for him. He's just doing whatever it takes to help us win. His care factor every day is high. And, I think that work and time and effort's putting in. I was just making sure it wasn't me that said but, right? The way you started that question, I was like, I'm excited for him. And, I think we're more just now, getting ready to play a game 5 and keeping him in a good place and knowing every game's different. And we need different things from different guys, but he's ready to give us whatever it takes.
For you guys this year, obviously you had your backs against the wall last year against the Heat and weren't able to respond in this way. So often this season, you've had your backs against the wall and responded. What do you think is different about this year's team?
This group, it's a good group. They're high character. I think there's a ton of talent. The roster's versatile. There's a physicality. It's a really good team, and good teams and with good character, and credit to them that they've been able to respond and be resilient. It's a big part of who we are.
Jim in the back.
Hey, Mike. Obviously, going small or shuffling lineups is not new, but what specifically, or can you elaborate a little more on what you've liked with Jeff coming in these last few games and when you go small and what he's provided, even if it's, again, kind of not a stat sheet filler, if you will?
Yeah, I think, just having another ball handler out there, another guy who can maybe initiate offense, who can, keep us moving, get us organized. And then defensively, I think, the ability to disrupt the ball, have a presence on the ball, be able to change the matchups, put different guys on different people. He's in I think an important place in this series. And, we're looking for more from him going forward. And, the fact that Drew can play off the ball, Drew's coming, and really, when you play with Giannis and Chris and, it's another guy that can handle it. And, to play point guard with our group, you got to be able to do a little bit of both, play with it, play without it. And, Drew can do that. Jeff can do that. And then defensively, they can help us just guard different guys.
In general, as Brooks' minutes have kind of shortened up here a little bit these last few games, what have you liked about the smaller lineup that you've gone with, that regardless of which combination it is?
Yeah. It's been a group that we've used some, through the playoffs. And, I think again, we talk about the versatility. Guys can match up a little bit differently. Offensively, maybe we can do things a little bit, different. It's just a good change of pace. It's a good different look, and we got to rebound out of it. I think that's the, Giannis's ability to rebound, but then when Pat's playing and Chris going and getting 50-50 balls, Drew coming up with a big rebound, PJ's physicality. I think defensively, there's just a lot of versatility with that smaller, whatever the combination is. And then offensively, similarly, we can play a little bit different. And, each game's been different, though. Bobby, I thought was good, which in our vernacular, we don't consider that small. And, I think it's been Brooke, Bobby, Giannis, PJ, Smalls, all that. Each game's been a little bit different.
Jeff?
Mike, two-parter. How many times have you watched maybe the final 2 minutes of game 4? And are you able to watch it in an enjoyable way? Are you still watching it as a coach? Can you appreciate, a moment later what was happening? And maybe along those lines is you can't be into this 24/7, or maybe you are. What do you like to do? How do you get away from it to free yourself up and get your mind and away from the game for a minute?
Yeah, it's at this stage you don't really watch any film or game, with that kind of just like, let me kick back and enjoy it. Like we've watched many of the clips multiple times trying to figure out, what, can we do better? What can we make sure we're executing? And, How do things, whether it's the last 2 minutes, the last 5 minutes, so really the whole game. So it's just more critical, like looking at it from that, critical lens and, what do we need to be prepared for? What do we need to do? So that's kind of the film. And I've actually just been walking a lot, which doesn't sound very fun or anything, but walking with headphones, whatever city. Although here I do the treadmill a little bit more. It's kind of hot outside. So in Milwaukee, it's been nice to walk. Getting a nice meal, nice glass of wine, being with my family, enjoying my kids, everything. So I try and put it away and just be like a normal person. Whatever you guys like to do, I'm probably somewhere close. Good meals, always at the top of my list.
I'm going to keep pushing, Mike. With the ear pods, are you listening to an audiobook, a podcast? You get music on?
More music, more just trying to check out and listen to some music.
On your right.
Bud, obviously late in that game, there was the missed call on Devin Booker on the fast break. In that moment, is it difficult to keep your composure? Like, is there a part of you that wants to run out on the court and be like, what's going on? Or are you thinking, I can't get a tech? How difficult is it to not kind of react in a moment like that?
Yeah, I'll probably maybe throw myself into the referee's position or shoes a little bit. In the heat of the moment, I didn't think it was as gross or as bad as maybe, we're all looking at it. And it's been a topic of conversation and questions. And in the moment, I think our team tries to go to the next play. Our team tries to focus on what's next. And if you spend too much time worrying about a missed call or something like that, it can have a really negative impact on you going forward. So I don't know that I did that, but I'm going to, give myself, that's my excuse is one, in the heat of the moment, I didn't see it as being as gross as the rest of the world probably did. So, that's probably maybe why the officials didn't call it. And I think they've been good about being honest about it since. And in general, I think as a team and as a coach, there's moments to complain and all that stuff, but you got to get to the next play. You got to, these guys it's a tough game to referee and players got to keep playing. I got to keep coaching.
Just a quick follow-up. You mentioned you can't dwell on it. I'm curious, did that play come up in a huddle or anything like that? Is it something you have to remind the guys not to think about, or was it immediately a non-fact?
No, again, in the moment, I was a little bit in the dark or not quite as locked, but we went to the timeout. Drew was pretty upset. Drew was, I think, having conversations with the referee and, I didn't say anything to Drew, but my mind is like, Drew, we need to just get ready for the next play. It's, you can't go back. Things aren't going to change. And you just got to kind of move next play. And for good reason, Drew's upset. And Drew, I think the officials are good. There's a professionalism. There's conversations. But you got to just move to the next play.
Sam, last question here.
But, this has been the COVID season. You guys have had it in front of you all year. So it's not that has necessarily changed. But when you see what's happening with Team USA, when you see baseball games getting postponed, and when you see, today it was reported that all 50 states have gone up again for the first time in a long time. With this role and this chance you have to win a championship, does it cross your mind that let's just do everything we got to do to get it over the finish line here?
Yes. and we've had some conversations. We've actually had conversations throughout the entire season, like you referenced, the start of the playoffs, as you've gone from round to round and just within the last, 2, 3, 4 days. We are aware we live in this world and whether it's, all 50 states going up or things that are happening closer to us at home. And I think all the players are, I think they're locked in and being safe, being healthy, hoping for the best for, everybody around us in our country. And, but yeah, there's a real, push to stay safe, to stay healthy, to be vigilant. We're, both teams, we're very, very close to, the finish and we're excited about, finishing this strong.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Chris will be right up.